Hello everyone and welcome again to another painting stream with me, Bachicolio. And as I can see, we are experiencing some issues from the very beginning with the camera. Anyway, how is everyone doing? How is the week treating y'all? Meanwhile, let me try and help this somehow. I honestly can't bring myself to understand what I can do, aside from maybe using a weaker main light. So changing out the light bulb. And it appears to be getting worse with every stream. Maybe the camera is getting worse off. I don't know. It is annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Right, well, let's go for the stable exposure and try to work off of that. Turn off backlight and gain. Okay, now we seem to be getting somewhere. But not really. What if we lower this and pump up the gain? Does it help? I'm never gonna get this fixed, am I? Hmm. Again, dude, seriously, if anyone at all has any idea on how to deal with this stupid issue, please, please, please let me know. That's not how you do a good stream. Not at all. Hmm. Let's think about this for a few more minutes. Maybe under pressure I will get the right idea. Unfortunately, the way I see it, I need to get a less intense light bulb into the main light source. Which would allow me to work at higher exposure. And this will not torment the camera as much. Hey there, Pig in Space. Welcome. How are you doing today? Yeah. Well, kind of the same for me, really. Just having the usual problems with the bloody camera. Which one do you mean? The regular chat or the chat box that it is on the screen? Like, both? Well, blurry is a matter of focus, but it's bloody because it's making me insane with the flickering. I can see it flickering here on the preview window, and it is only gonna get worse with time. I should probably change the light bulb. Yeah, that's what I'm always fighting since day one, and it seems that the issue is only getting worse for whatever reason. What would happen if I just pull it back a little bit? Maybe the colors, no. I'm seriously running out of options here. Because the only thing that can fix it is this. So watch your eyes, because it's gonna get bright. Yeah, this is the only way the bloody thing remains stable. But it makes the overall picture borderline intolerable. Yeah, exactly. But that way is the only way that it remains stable. As soon as I lower that, it starts to flicker. Or maybe it needs more light. Hold on a second, let me try something.
Soul pollutes our sons and daughters. Ooh. You can fall asleep on sheets of gold and wake up as a pauper. We all get old, we all slow down as the walls they close. We fall, we drown, and I need some breathing space. I won't grow old with grace.
Right, let's see how it likes more light. It appears go on then. You feel like it, can't be helped. Okay, well. Like a Darth Vader, maybe? Yeah, it seems to be working better now. Or at least it makes it less noticeable. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. So what if I take off the diffuser? Can't really do it right now. If I bring it down, no. Doesn't change anything. No, not at all. It's just annoying for everyone who watches. Probably a little bit as annoying as me trying to fix it. Hmm. Yeah, well, okay, just a few more moments and I'll be right back. Oh. Ah, that's gonna blind me. Ah, hell no. Yeah, well, growing pains. Quite possibly. Hmm. Yeah, I sure did blind myself a little bit, not gonna lie there. And I am a little bit overlit. think this is about as manageable as I can keep this. And for next time, I will remove the diffuser from the light, which may or may not help. Oh. How about... I don't know. I don't know, let's just move on then. I do apologize for this inconvenience. Hopefully I'll find something to do to fix it next time. Yeah, there's a bit of a flicker, but let's say it's okay-ish. And as long as I don't go too far into the left, that should be fine. Alright. So yesterday we managed to make the highlights for the gray and the black. And we went through the standard shading. For a couple of surfaces. And today we're going to tackle the skin and the face. Because why not make life more difficult than painting eyes? Well, he does have some Superman underpants. And over that there is a fur to keep his ass warm, I suppose. I actually consider it to be done at this point. It doesn't register too well on the camera, but I did give it a quick dry brush all over, followed by a coat. No, I was thinking about it, but it would be too much time to spend. So if it was a particular animal, I needed to make the center... Let me use a brush. I should have made the center here darker, and it would have needed to get lighter to the sides. To simulate. You mean on the top? See, that would only cover the raised areas, and I actually needed to be a color and not a highlight. So probably during the base coating stage I should have either wet blended it or made something else in order to give a good flat base coat of the brown and work over it. I know, it does, I agree with you. But at this point, I kind of want to get them done.
Breaks at the heart of our mistakes and the form that it now takes.
But yeah, your point is valid. I understand it.
Asking a father when are we going?
But that would mean that I have to repaint the whole thing. And then go for different shades of highlights on the sides and on the center. Which doesn't work too well in this case. Anyway, let's go right into it.
And even if it's not easy, you gotta believe me.
Yeah, that was a concern of mine. But hey there, the keel hole. I'm currently sticking to Citadel range.
City of regrets. And the moment my heart breaks at the heart of our mistakes and this form that
Because I started collecting other ranges that weren't particularly aimed towards miniature painting, and I had a rough time. And then at our local hobby shop they got a shipment of the starter packs for paints, if you remember them. So the pack with the base colors and the pack with the shades and the pack with the highlights. So I'm kind of sticking to them for the moment. Although currently the issues I'm experiencing aren't so much related to the paints themselves. Yeah, whenever effects needed to be placed, I agree, it works. But again, the current problems that I'm experiencing are more along the lines of me just not being able to pull off what I want to do. It's not the paint's fault. And you may have seen that I'm currently also struggling with the camera and the lighting. Hopefully I'll manage for the next stream. I will put some more work into the lighting so that it doesn't drive the camera insane as it does right now. I will be using again the Bombwick dead cords. For the highlighting of the flesh. And I will be using the Army Painter Insane Detail for the face, so the eyes and the eyebrows. So let's jump into trying to pull off the eyes until I am still fresh. Oh, tell me about it. And whenever I see pictures of someone highlighting the iris on a 32mm miniature, I'm this close to giving up on painting in general. I have no idea. Like, I have no clue what kind of steady hands and nerves it takes. But they're there and they bring any remnants of confidence that I could have. I know, right? One thing that I've learned about the positioning of the irises is that you should actually try and make them a bit off to the side as opposed to try and get them centered, because getting them centered make them actually look cross-eyed. So you need to push them to the side towards the ears. That sort of balances things out a little bit. And of course, using a super small brush means that the paint dries off between the palette and the surface, which does not help at all. I'm just gonna go a bit sloppy here for the whole thing, and I'll cover it back in. Oh, I know this looks horrible right now, but it'll get better. And again, sorry about the flickering of the screen. This is just that my camera does not like low exposure. And if I increase the exposure, the overall picture becomes pretty ghastly. Right. And while this dries, I'm gonna go ahead and get the black. Yeah, eyes are a nightmare to get back, and they kinda give out the entire impression of the miniature. So if they come out looking goofy, it sort of brings down everything else, which is ridiculous for such a small detail to bring down the quality of the entire thing. And yet, it kinda does. Because it's a main focal point and our stupid human brains sort of use the eyes. Yeah, but for every miniature, it'll become a nightmare. So the brain uses the eyes to recognize the face, and if they don't come out right, it registers as something not right. Nope. Yeah, I actually have. Yeah. The eye patch is something I've used on one of my older miniatures when I just couldn't be bothered to go back and repaint it. although it is somewhat um, because the detail doesn't look right. The surface of the temple. So now we are going into the ever so lovely back and forward system. Anyway, the kill hole, do you dabble in Blood Bowl, or are you just generally a miniatures painter? I would assume that you do, considering the paint ranges that you use and the pandemic struggle with eyes. Nope. That did not work at all. So let's try and work around this. Maybe it wouldn't be impossible to make this shit work. Nope, not possible. Not possible. Oh, probably just not this brush then, yeah? I guess. I guess that's as good as it's gonna get. Now we're just gonna work around what we've done and hopefully make him look just a little bit more human. And there are like quite a few different ways to tackle the eyes. Some people tend to draw vertical lines instead of dots, which helps in some cases. Some people like to have a contour around the eye, in order to increase the emphasis. By going the darkest flesh tone they're using, and then painting the eyeball in the socket, which is shaded previously. And some insane people can just go in and make things so pedantically that they have room to highlight the fucking iris of the eye. Which is very cruel towards all other aspiring miniatures painters. Because a display of skill such as this, yeah, and the flickering becomes unbearable. There might be new drivers for the camera or something, I don't know. Which is weird, because I've seen people use the same model of camera and not experience these problems, so it is technically possible to get it to work. Okay. I'm actually gonna call this pretty okay. So what did we learn? Do not use the Army Painter Insane Detail brush ever again. So I'm straight up going to put the cap on it. And I'm gonna remove it from the equation. Right, and one last thing to do in order to control the eyes, I'm going to draw the eyebrows back. Well, on this model you don't need to draw the eyebrows, you just need to paint them, since... And there is... they are already sculpted in. With the brush, so even though it's very thin, when you curl it up to a point and you put any amount of moisture, so anything aside from it being completely dry, it creates a bubble a bit on top, which actually the tip stays, but just above it all the moisture is collected, and it makes it too big of a dispenser of paint. And if you pick up less paint, it dries off literally from here to here. The paint is already dry on the brush and you can't do anything with it. Not a bad brush, so probably for drawing, if for freehanding, it'd be good. And someone with more skill and more used drawing detail with a softer brush, that wouldn't be an issue. But for me, it's a bit of a nightmare, so... Oh no, it's very short as it is. Like, this is one of the issues. If it were longer, that issue wouldn't appear. But they keep the bristles short in order to cut down on production costs most of the time. If we're talking sable, so natural sable bristles, most of the time the manufacturers would opt for short bristles. Either way, this one works perfectly fine so far, even though it has begun to hook a little bit. It's perfectly decent. Okay, so that is the eyebrows painted in as well. Is there anything I can do to give him a more human look? Not really sure. Sorry for being so quiet. This process is nerve-wracking and I am terrified of making a mistake here, because if I do, I have to repaint the entire thing. And I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to have to do that. There we go. Like you said at the start, not great, not terrible. Somewhere along the lines of workable. So, I managed to spill out my medium, so I'll have to go in for another drop. And now we can go into the flesh, as per usual.
Well, I boot you up and my imagination's running wild. Haven't felt this way since I was building Lego as a child. Got my workbench good to go, my sticks and planks are all stockpiled. And I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. Well, I spent the afternoon staring at my computer screen till I stopped to see the world in gray and blue and brown and green. These pixels are so simple and so beautiful and clean. And I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. Hey, 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 I've been mining all day long. I could barely drag myself away to sing this song. Hey, 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 my castle's super strong. And I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day
I'm going for a mix of water and medium. To make the paint blend better with the surface we're gonna be highlighting. Thankfully, in these sculpts, it is easy to identify what goes where. Although I am going a bit too thick here. Still too thick.
Now I hope that they got Minecraft up in heaven when I die. I'll be logging into God's great super server in the sky. His frame rate's in the hundreds and his settings are all high. We got arrows, food, and diamonds in it.
Ah, there we go. This is what we want.
I could barely drag myself away to sing this song. Hey, 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 my castle's super strong. And I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. Yeah, I feel great 'cause I've been mining all day long.
Oh yeah. This is the perfect consistency. And with a little bit of luck, I'll be able to consistently remix it.
Dull windows deliver no lights under the soft cinders, the dimming of life. We're crawling cold canyons, deep cuts between the giants, still standing over rapid ravines. Still cities sleep.
Yeah, well, to tell you the truth, his sculpt sort of gives out that impression as well. He does have a slight smile on his face. So if this is the case, if this is how he is coming through to you, then this is actually a good thing. And again, the mixture went to shit. So trying to reinvent the wheel yet again. But this is how the cookie crumbles for most of the cases. Not that much we can do about it. For the life of me, I can't remember if on the Ulf Werner I had a intermediate step before the Cadian flesh tone, but I don't think I did. The intermediate step was before Kislev Flash. Meaning I just have to make do with this. So again, the main principle that I'm following when highlighting, well, anything really, is aiming the brush stroke towards the area where I want the most highlight to be the most concentrated, since the drop of paint that accumulates does so at the end of the brush stroke. So if you see me brushing in weird and funky angles, this is mainly what's guiding me. I'm also going with as light of a brush stroke as possible, as to see how the paint would flow naturally and not force it. So far, I have not managed to do so particularly well, but it remains to be seen or done. By the way, if anyone didn't hear yesterday's info, on Monday I'll be having my first Rebel game for Season 12. Against a pretty well developed Nurgle team. It's going to start at 1800 UTC. But I will be making an additional announcement. For anyone that cares to check it out. Oh, right. Still, it's the same human team that I used last season. I don't know if I mentioned, but I am in the same division as Zunk this season. So I'll probably have a match against him at some point. but we'll see. I should also try and schedule the game for the local tabletop. And get obliterated by halflings. But we'll see. Anyway, there are games coming. That's what I meant to say. And also, it should be a wise choice to try and get some practice games for the World Cup. Hopefully I'll manage to find time for that as well. Oh, okay. Tell me which days work best for you, and I will work around that. I'm not really happy with how this is turning out. Not at all happy, to be honest. And with the stream looking as ghastly as it is, I don't know. Might not be a bad idea to cut it short today. I'll try and soldier on a little bit, but feels like today was not a good day for streaming painting. I was a bit more in the mood for the Surge today. But I am trying to get as much as possible done on the painting front. So tomorrow I'll probably take a break and try and go for some weekend streaming, when I am a bit more rested and when I've had time to look into the technical difficulties I'm currently experiencing.
As your steps descend, feeling disentranced, coming to the end. As your steps descend.
Yeah, it feels like there should have been another mid-step. Yeah, but still, this is something I need to address at some point. And it's annoying just knowing that the technical side of things doesn't quite listen to you as much as you'd like it to. What's actually worrying me is its degenerative nature, meaning that I'm using the same settings every day for every stream, and with every stream the flickering becomes worse, meaning that there may be some mechanical fatigue setting in somewhere. And when I looked through the internet to try and find a possible solution, essentially everyone says that these types of webcams and webcams in general are not the best thought out inventions. As in, they are made mostly for USB 2. However, they need to use more power than the USB can provide, and this is not helped if you go into USB 3. So it's kind of like trying to run a truck on a normal car battery. It just gives out. And buying an actual camera at this stage is completely off the table. Meaning I'll need to dig around and try some. As in a professional camera. Like a DSLR or something. Because you can't really call the webcam very different in terms of quality and extremely more expensive. So it's really not worth it at this point for me to spend this type of money for that. Like maybe I can look into this just on the side. If something falls off the wagon, so to speak, I might jump on it. However, considering how much of a trend it is to be a photographer and collect cameras and equipment, even secondhand would be quite overpriced for what it is. So currently it's in the maybe if the stream grows I would invest category. And in the meantime I'll just try and make do with what I have. Well, the monkey can come in handy to hold the camera, to give a dynamic angle. Beyond that, it's pretty useless. Oh, from that point of view, yeah, sure. Sure. Still, I would like to avoid animal exploitation for the time being. It's not that much of a circus stream yet. That didn't turn out too bad. Yeah, I really wanted to avoid this looking like patchwork. But apparently it is going to look like patchwork. As you can see. Let's see how much I can push this forward before giving up for today. Because at this point I'm just trying to find reasons to do so, and if this starts to happen I might as well go ahead and call it. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I think I'll actually gonna call it, because this additional light is also cooking my brain and screwing up the paint, and the screen keeps flickering. I'm not even gonna upload this to YouTube because it'll be unwatchable. with this quality. So sorry about that, guys, but as you can see, it's just one of those days when things just don't tend to come together. So yeah, tomorrow I'll probably take a break, being Friday and all, and I'll see what I can do for going in during the weekend. But in the meanwhile, I am going to wish you a very lovely rest of your evening. And until we meet again, hopefully under better technical circumstances. And I think that'll be it for me. It's been Bachifolio, and I'm signing out. Till next time.